Kia ora, hello, and welcome to Anyway, the podcast where I unpack the chaos of reality TV. I am your host, Natalie McMurray, coming to you from Aotearoa, New Zealand. Today on The Valley, we learn about a fridge that is worth its weight in gold. Let's get into episode 10. We open with Zack and Luke doing some form of high-intensity interval training, I think. And Zack wants to die. Who can blame him? Over at Jesse's place, Jesse's daughter Isabella has managed to open 800,000 apps on her tablet. And she has fruit roll-up in her hair. This could actually be a scene from my own life. I feel like I'm forever trying to fix a tablet that's rapidly deteriorating at the hands of a 6-year-old, while simultaneously trying to brush a million knots out of her perpetually matted hair. Parenthood is truly a blessing. Jason is being driven home from surgery by Janet. I guess now we're subjected to watching Jason bitch and complain about his knee for the rest of the season. It's not that I don't have sympathy. It's just that men stereotypically do not have high pain thresholds. And for someone who's given birth, I automatically give little to no shits about your knee. Sorry, Jason. Janet doesn't like the sass being thrown away post-surgery. As a woman who has also given birth, she's going to give him 24 hours to be snappy and rude, and then it's game over. Jasmine and Melissa are discussing Zack's apartment warming. Jasmine texts Zack. He's having a bad day. She then calls him and is all, "How are you doing?" He says, "I'll tell you how I'm doing. Not well, bitch." He says his roommate is moving out, and I can't tell if he's upset because he's going to miss him or because he's an asshole. But apparently he's taking his monster fridge with him. Again, I'm iffy on the details as to whether it's a giant fuck-off fridge or a Monster Energy branded fridge. Come to find out later, it looks like a regular-sized fridge full of Monster Energy. And it is a Monster Energy branded fridge, obviously. I seriously hope that Zack is not consuming as much Monster Energy as that fridge would have us believe. That cannot be good for you. The way that Zack is crying over this fridge, it's like he's never going to be able to drink an ice-cold Monster Energy drink ever again. Zack, you know you can just put them in a regular fridge, right? Michelle and Nia arrive at a cafe that sells, as advertised on the sign outside, coffee, cocaine, and croissants. Now that's how you do business. I bet they're making a lot of money. Nia is downplaying Danny's toxic behaviour yet again. Michelle says in a testimonial that when she was married to Jesse, she would do the same things. She brushed things off because she didn't want people to know how bad their relationship was. Moving on, we then see Brittany in her recovery bed, and her boyfriend Brandon comes to visit. Apparently, she asked him to pick her up some very badly needed pain medication, but he left it too late, and now she has to get another prescription from her doctor for it. To which I say, why the hell are you getting this man to get the most important thing you need for your recovery? He seems a little useless. Anyway, she says her ball sacks are getting kind of full. A sentence which makes me want to projectile vomit. And also, we don't need to see that. Gross. The drainage sacks need to be emptied, and Brandon is all, "No fucking way in hell am I doing that." She says she'll get someone else to do it because she still wants him to be attracted to her after this. He makes a face behind her back, which I do not like. I don't know anything about this man, and I don't think they're still together, thankfully, because honestly, he seems like an asshole to me. Which isn't helped by the fact that straight after the face incident, he tells her dog to get the fuck out of his way. Anyone who treats animals badly can go fuck themselves with a cheese grater. Kristen arrives at Brittany's. They're all discussing when Brandon will be back to see Brittany again. And I guess there was some kind of miscommunication or just straight up lies from his end because their thoughts on when that would be do not seem to be aligning. Brittany tells us that he asked for her money, which she then gave to him. And he's still continuing to flake the fuck out on her. I fucking hate that. Hate it. My alarm bells are ring-a-ding-dinging in response to this man. I'm now seriously hoping that they are indeed broken up. The last thing that Brittany needs is another partner leeching off her life source and funds. Brittany says long distance is hard, All I'm thinking is, I'm sure long distance is a lot harder when the person isn't willing to show up for you or put any effort in, all while continually asking you for things. Run, Brittany! Danny and Nia are having a date night. Kind of. It's a date night with their 3-month-old baby. Nia asked Danny to wear the baby. I'm in the middle of thinking about how much this man hates his life when baby Adelaide spews on him, which is karma. Danny tells us that he hates baby spew. It makes him nauseous. Why are you having so many babies then, dickhead? Nia talks about how sad it makes her to think about not having another baby to look after. And Danny seems to take this as an opening to push his 10 under 10 agenda. He's all, so you're telling me there's a chance. Danny, you just told us that you hate baby vomit. And you look like you want to go to the corner store for a packet of cigarettes and never come back again anytime you have to do anything for one of your existing children. Why have more? What is the objective? To be even more miserable? Zack, Jasmine, and Jesse are meeting for drinks. Zack tells them that he damn near threw himself in front of the moving truck to keep that Monster Energy fridge. He says that the situation got so contentious that he basically told his ex-roommate to take all of his furniture. They discuss the Danny of it all. And Jasmine gets upset with Zack for not having her back in regard to the situation with Danny. Zack says he'll have a conversation with Danny to make his stance clear. Later on, we see Jasmine visiting Brittany. Jasmine brings her some food, which she goes to put in the fridge in the gym upstairs, because stairs and stitches do not mix. While she's in there, Jasmine finds a mysterious empty can of White Claw, which she brings to Brittany and is all, "What this?" Brittany says, "Ooh, White Claw. I don't drink that." She says it must have been from Danny and Nia at the pool party, even though Danny told Nia that he wasn't drinking that day. The messy-ass editors, doing the Lord's work on the show, proceed to play footage of Danny's audio running into a room and sculling a White Claw off camera. Brittany says she could care less if people are drinking, but the hiding and the lying are giving her PTSD from her demon ex-husband. We move over to Jesse, Schwartz, and Danny meeting up for drinks. Say what you will about Schwartz, but the man likes to bring a gift, which, in my experience, is not a trait that you'll find in many men. I find it to be very endearing. He brings Jesse a bottle of Moe to share with Michelle for their divorce paper signing. They then talk about the San Diego incident. Jesse says all I ever hear about these days is, was Danny drunk? Has he been drunk? What are we going to do about his drinking? Jesse, you literally just brought it up again. Jesse also thinks that the people in this group are hypocritical about drinking. He doesn't want to keep talking about it. Honestly, it kind of seems like Jesse is thinking, if people are talking this way about Danny, it's only a matter of time before they start talking about me. He wants to deflect. Danny says the demon formerly known as Jax put a target on his back last summer. Jesse says, and you know who went right along with that? Brittany. Apparently he has a massive issue with Brittany because she was mean to Lacy. And then, just when I found myself being endeared to Schwartz, he completely undoes it by not sticking up for his friend. He says in his testimonial, Brittany doesn't have a mean bone in her body, and that if Jax is preoccupied with attacking Danny, he's not attacking her. Which is extremely fucking sad. Does he say this to Jesse and Danny in person, who are currently plotting against Brittany? No. Come on, Schwartz, what the actual fuck? Brittany arrives at a post-op appointment with Janet. She sees the doctor's work for the first time and gets emotional. She talks about the trauma that Jax put her through by body shaming her. And we cut to a scene from the last reunion with her discussing it. I know this is an emotional moment, but for the life of me, all I can think about are the lifts, on Jax's feet. Remember when he was wearing straight up lifts at that reunion? What a wild choice. Anyway, Brittany is a beautiful girl, and it's nice to see her in a happy place and being free from that menace to society. We arrive at Zack and Benji's housewarming party. Zack tells us that him and Benji have vastly different interior decorating styles. Benji likes handcrafted objects sourced from exotic locations. Zack, on the other hand, well, Zack is in love with the Monster Energy fridge. Enough said. Michelle arrives with a bottle of wine, but Zack informs her that his ex-roommate took his wine opener, which is next level petty. They only cost like $5. Lacy and Jessie arrive. Lacy thinks she's arrived at a frat party with the pizzas, solo cups, and lack of furniture. We find out that Lala can not only go down a mountain, she cannot go down on a woman unless she's wasted. I'd like to say that doing anything wasted, technically speaking, should be much harder than sober. But different strokes for different folks, I guess. When Kristen arrives, she wants to know where the TV she gave Zack has gone. The ex-roommate took it. And I would now like some answers as to what the beef was between these two. Why did Zack let him take all of his furniture? Lacy invites Michelle into her and Schwartz's divorcee cult. Michelle doesn't want any part of it. Lacy then asks Michelle if she can throw a divorce party, which appears to be a joke, to which Michelle says, please do not. Too bad for her, Lacy has already planned the cowboy party down to some pretty fine details, including a custom hat bedazzling station. Danny is loudly complaining about how much water he has to drink. I guess he wants to let everybody at the party know he's not drinking alcohol. God only knows why this man is lying straight to everyone's face when he's on camera. He sneakily tries to go to the kitchen and pour some whiskey into a cup. He then seemingly stares straight into the camera and proceeds to scull it back. This is the shit sketching everyone the fuck out, Danny. Just pour yourself a drink in a normal manner without hiding, and don't be a dick to anyone. It's pretty fucking simple. At the end of the episode, Zack gives an emotional speech about the friends in his life. He talks about how they've helped him through tough times. Very sweet. That's it for now. Thanks for listening. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.